The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv. Check out Amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. And for more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. The Angry Chicken is brought to you by our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this. You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot. A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken.
Welcome back to another TAC, everyone. I'm Garrett, here as always with Jocelyn, and boy, do we have a show for you today. We have actual rewards track news to discuss, not wishful things we wish or hope would happen to rewards track news, not something someone yelled on Reddit rewards track news, not, hey, does anyone want to know what Garrett's mom's hot take on rewards track is news? We have actual rewards track news. We also have the actual world championship coming up, which no one has been talking about because they've been too busy talking about rewards track news. We don't have Battlegrounds news to talk about, but if we have time today, I have thoughts and I'd love to talk about it, but that might not actually make it in the show depending on how long we talk about rewards track news.
I feel like that's just episode title. Rewards track news.
Yes. How you doing, Joss?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good. It's a good time to be a Hearthstone fan. I think I'm really looking forward to the World Championship this weekend. I want to see the best of the best pilot the decks that have been all over the ladder. I'm ready, Garrett. I am ready. Yeah,
I am too. I'm ready to be focused on an aspect of Hearthstone that actually involves playing the game. That sounds fun. Sounds like a good time. I'm still enjoying my time with the game. I think I've kind of followed the trajectory we talked about last week with Dexter. I think the meta settled, and I'm a little bored with it, just a little bit. But there's still so many decks that I personally don't feel I have a mastery of. That's how I'm kind of keeping myself interested, and also playing Aggro Demon Hunter. I'm sorry, Jocelyn, I couldn't beat them, so I joined them.
It's okay. There are so many Demon Hunters now that I don't know what to do. My concede plan doesn't work anymore, because if I concede to every Demon Hunter, I'm conceding every game, and it just, maybe that's a good way to tank my MMR. Maybe I tank my MMR and then I get to play against people that are having fun. Or maybe I'll just play against more Demon Hunters. Who knows?
You'll play against more Demon Hunters that are learning the deck as opposed to Demon Hunters that have perfected the deck. I'm finally running into Dude Paladin, and it's making me a little crabby about having not cracked either of the new Paladin legendaries, because that is without a doubt the coolest deck to come out of this meta, in my opinion. If I was to bestow an award upon, and I know everyone's like, Garrett, yeah, it's Paladin, we get it. But I'm here telling you, I haven't played it. I'm missing both new legendaries, which are both in the list. So when I go up against it, I'm like, damn, you're doing so much cool stuff. And then I kill it because I'm Aggro Demon Hunter. But it's a really cool list. And I think I'm gonna give that my coolest damn deck of the meta award, which is a thing we've never given out, but I am now saying it like it's a thing, because that's just how you make things, Jocelyn. You just will them into being.
I feel like this is almost like a throwback meta, right? We've got Dude Paladin, we've got Evolve Shaman, we've got Control Warrior. It's Hearthstone's greatest hits right now, but all with a twist.
And what's cool about it is they're so different than their previous versions of everything you just rattled off. As much as I miss Muster for Battle, things have changed. And as much as I don't miss Evolve Shaman. So that's going to be 2 world championships in a row with Evolve Shaman, but they are wildly different decks.
Yes.
Cool. Just making sure. Been playing a lot of Battlegrounds again this week. Kind of hadn't really messed with it too much in the past 2 weeks outside of, getting my quests done when they were Battlegrounds. You know, it was funny, Joss. I was on here not that long ago. It feels like it was just yesterday. Just yesterday. A simpler time when we were on the Angry Chicken giving honest thoughts about interfacing with the rewards track instead of covering the dumpster fire, which was the community's reaction to it. And also, frankly, the math in the rewards track when we actually looked it up. It seems like just yesterday that I was like, man, I think the thing I'm the most bummed about is that I can't just complete all my quests in whatever mode I want to. And that was definitely like, you could tell it in my voice. I was playing Battlegrounds. I wanted to get my quests done in Battlegrounds. And then immediately, Joss, something happened. A new expansion came out, and a new expansion came out with archetypes that I really enjoyed playing. And I was just slamming games. And that week I hadn't all but the one you're guaranteed to get it weekly for ranked. Everything else was Battlegrounds. And I was like, well, how the tides have turned and how my prowess in this mode has fallen because I've been focusing on standard. So yeah, I had a hard time clearing out my weeklies that week. But yeah, this week I kind of just went back in for the fun of it. Like, it's been a while since I was just like, I just want to break through. Feel like I'm getting better at the mode again, and I've picked up on a few things. I've kind of gotten my head back around the Battlegrounds meta, and it feels good. And at the same time, it feels like nothing has changed. So I'm kind of ready for a sprucing up over there, which should be coming. we know there's a big update with every expansion, and we haven't gotten the Dark Moon Battlegrounds update yet. So.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's really hard to tell with the fact that we're getting a new 35 card expansion. I don't actually know what we're looking at timing wise in terms of big Battlegrounds changes versus big like standard constructed changes. So I don't know if they're going to happen at the same time, or I don't know. I find this timeline difficult to predict, especially with BlizzCon line and everything happening in February. And I don't know when anything's going to happen. So.
Yes. And that's, honestly, it's kind of exciting. I kind of dig it that, like, I don't really have a great feel for everything. And also it's kind of expected. 2020 has just been a mess and it's thrown everything off. BlizzCon's in February and I'm not going to see any of my friends. Dogs are living with cats now. And I don't know, but whatever the case is, we've got quite a bit to talk about, but that's kind of where my head's at, just, playing the game this week. But before we get into it, we want to thank those of you supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC. If you like what we're doing and you want to support the Angry Chicken, that's how you do it. It's opt-in. You don't have to, but we really appreciate it if you did. It's the holidays. We get it. Some of you leave and you come back, and that's fine. But if you like us, you want to support us, check it out, patreon.com/TAC. And Jess, we have 2 new patrons to thank today, and we're going to be thanking Nathan Bell. Thank you very much, Nathan, for becoming a patron. And we're going to be thanking Slissa, which sounds familiar. Where have I heard that name before? Slissa, what are you doing? You don't need to become a patron. But thank you. But
we very much appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Slissa. We do appreciate it. Need to get Slissa back on at some point, too. But anyways, Joss, let's stop beating around the bush and let's actually talk about just how the hell the rewards track is going to be changing in this week's Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
So we got a big old blog post update from Ben Lee over on Team 5, and there's just a ton of adjustments that will be coming soon. It's not here yet, but will be coming soon to Hearthstone in regards to the rewards track. And there's a lot to cover here, Joss. I'm like, stop me whenever something really interesting that you've got an opinion on comes up. But to kick it off, Ben Lee said that in this update, we will be adjusting or removing quests that players have let us know are too difficult to complete, reducing the amount of XP required to complete the 50 levels rewards track by nearly 20%, adding 2 gold rewards on the track, and redesigning the bonus levels after level 50. We're also planning a one-time login reward of 5 Dark Moon Fair Packs and 500 gold beginning on December 15th, which will be available until January 18th. Very important. Get in there, get your free stuff.
I mean, we were just talking about what dates and when things might happen. And so I think the fact that they flagged January 18th as the end of this login promotion might lead me to believe something important is happening on January 18th. But
it sure draws the eye, doesn't it?
It does draw the eye. That's a good way to put it. So I think maybe we just tuck that little tidbit of information into the back of our heads, because obviously it's not the biggest thing to talk about when it comes to the rewards track update. But I do think it is worth noting as a
Yeah, I am picking up what you and Ben Lee here is putting down. But yeah, so that's kind of the sky high view.
TLDR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of everything that's going on. So what the hell does this all mean? Well, they're removing weekly quests that require legendary cards and arena runs. That's specifically what they meant by that mention. According to Ben Lee, it's too high of an investment, and also just straight up said it was a mistake in their mind.
Yeah.
That they don't think they should have. They now think that they shouldn't have done it, which I agree. It was one of the first tweets I remember seeing from someone when the rewards track went live.
It was play the old gods or something, but we didn't get a free old god this time. So it was wait, so I have to play and craft a deck around a very specific legendary.
I think it was very specifically a Dark Moon Fair legendary. I don't think it was an old god legendary. But
I thought there was one that was play an old god 10 times or something like that.
Well, maybe there was. The one I'm thinking of, I could have sworn it was just Dark Moon legendary, but still it was just what if I only got one legendary and what if it's butt?
Or what if I didn't pre-order and I got none?
Yeah.
And there were lots of iterations of, ooh, this feels like a not so fun quest.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
they're no longer required or no longer going to be in the pool.
Yeah. And you and I have talked about how, we don't have a ton of skin in the game in regards to the rewards track. Obviously I want it to be good. Yeah. I want more of my friends, as we talked about with Dexter last week. I want more of my friends to play this game. I want them to feel invited into this game. But in reality, I spend a good deal of money in Hearthstone every year, so it doesn't affect me all that much. But even I was just you know what my least favorite thing is? Arena quests. Get these out of here. I was re-rolling it every time. I wanted nothing to do with it. So I'm also, to me, I look at that as just a all-around win, because that actually affects me. But
well, yeah, I mean, I feel like the thing about arena quests, and this is kind of too bad, because by removing arena runs, they're basically saying arena players, too bad. And so I kind of wish that they had just changed those to, instead of saying arena runs, say, hey, arena or battlegrounds, or arena, or insert all other modes here, or whatever. It's very odd to me, given that the messaging tended to be, and this goes to the guaranteed weekly quest always being rank mode as well, is if you're trying to push players or allow players to play in whichever mode they want, why aren't there more quests that just say do X in any mode, right? And they are updating some things to progress in other modes other than just ranked, but it seems odd to just be instead of tweaking those quests that have an arena in them, they're just nope, gone, boom. Too bad.
Yeah, it almost felt like those could have been play any mode but ranked, whatever, you
choose. Play anything else. Yeah. Even if you'd lumped wild in there too, I don't know, but it seems odd to me that they're just now we're taking arena out of the quests.
Yeah. I have to imagine, and Ben Lee talked about this in here, this is the kind of thing that they had always planned to continue to iterate upon. And even the old system got iterations. We got new quests on more than one occasion. So it would make sense that new quests would come in and possibly other quests would leave. It's just that I don't think they necessarily led off on the best foot with the quests that they added in here. And so I wonder if I kind of look at the arena one, it was probably just simpler from however the system is built standpoint to just be let's just remove arena, because it is the most locked, behind any sort of wall mode that is in this game. But besides when
Heroic Tavern Brawl is there.
Heroic Tavern Brawl's in town and whatnot. But day to day, arena has the biggest barrier to entry. So I can it still makes sense to me is what I'm trying to say. There were also some tweaks to quests that were mentioned. They said that some quests aren't working well or are harder to complete than they intended. The example that was given was the play 50 corrupt cards. I had this in my original, like the first day I logged in. This is one of them. I re-rolled it immediately.
It seemed really high, like play 50 of a card, especially the ones that work the way corrupt does, where you have to like play higher mana cards first, which means they're not necessarily going to be stuff you can do right at the beginning of your game. It just means that naturally it's going to happen later in the game, probably less often, and make this quest super hard to complete. So I'm glad that they're like reducing the requirements on some of those things. Like this one specifically was their example, saying they're going from 50 corrupt cards down to 30 corrupt cards, and that it should be making completing the quest easier. But like, I think there were some that were just like not counting towards the progress even. So even if you managed to like corrupt stuff and do it properly, the quest was like, nah. So yeah, they've fixed bugs. They've lowered some requirements on some things that didn't feel like they lined up in terms of their XP rewards and everything else. So tweaks to quests are coming. And one of those tweaks is also changing, as I mentioned earlier, the guaranteed weekly quest of 7 wins in ranked play mode. They have now changed that to 5 wins in ranked play mode instead of 7. So they've made it a little bit easier to complete, but it is still a guaranteed weekly quest, which again, I feel like is a little bit out of touch with some of the feedback that I'd been seeing, which is basically let me play Hearthstone the way I want to play Hearthstone, and forcing me every single week into ranked mode is not achieving the goal that you said you set out.
I too don't have really anything in the way of a defense for that either. Like I'm certain if we could see internal metrics that like there'd probably be a noteworthy crossover between a large majority of players that play both ranked and battlegrounds and or whatever, what have you. But like at the end of the day, it's just I don't know. We talked about again a little bit about this last week with Dexter, which is like I think you know. Like, I get that you want to focus people towards what I would assume is your most profitable mode, which is the one where you need cards to play it.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be their most profitable mode, like without question.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. You and I were talking a little bit before the show about this, so I'm just going to bring this conversation in here now, is that we are both seeing the conversation now kind of turn in some places, not all, but what's interesting you and I a lot is that the conversation is turning to just the overall cost of Hearthstone. And obviously that was a big part of the conversation that was being had around concerns regarding the rewards track. But, you know, like I'm actually seeing conversations about the cost, you know, the dust, how much it costs to craft a card, that type of conversation again. And I haven't seen a lot of that the last few weeks. And that's what plays into this for me. I can sort of understand. It's like, well, why should you be able to do all of the free-to-play aspects from Battlegrounds, a mode that is not impacted by your card collection? And to me, I just go, well, what's the harm? Like, why not let Battlegrounds players start to slowly build up a constructed card collection? Because then if they ever get the itch, they have something to start with. You know, their barrier to entry is a little bit alleviated. Which, I
mean, that's the biggest thing I think that we have been talking about here on Angry Chicken lately has been a lot of like, just what's the barrier to entry? How can you make it so that more people can play? Because in the end, that's what you want, right? Is more people playing Hearthstone. So I agree. Like if there is an easier path, but that does involve a time investment that can then eventually end up with somebody becoming a standard ranked player, then that should be a good thing. So
I realize there's other quests that allow you to make progression in Battlegrounds, but at a certain point, it's like, why are we forcing ranked play? Why is that guaranteed every week? I don't really have a defense for it. I think it's great that they're lowering it, but it doesn't really, it doesn't answer the concerns about, well, but I don't want to play ranked, but I'd like to still make progress with how I do play your game with these modes that you put in it. I get that, and I kind of feel it too. I get this done every week. I haven't missed a week on the replay win, but like there's a lot of people who main one mode that isn't ranked.
Yeah, I think I would feel better if there was like get 5 wins in, and then like one of the quests was rank play, one of the quests was battlegrounds, one of the quests was duels, one of the like if you want to have a very specific mode quest to try to get people to explore outside their comfort zone, which I think is totally valid, especially now that duels has changed. I haven't played since the closed beta, which means I haven't played the mode since it got updated and added more hero powers and stuff, and so therefore changed. I haven't played since they've made all those tweaks. If I got a quest that said, hey, your weekly this week is to win 5 times in duels, I would probably go do that. So I think that like not necessarily forcing, but encouraging diversity of play within Hearthstone is actually probably in their best interest to get me interested in different modes and moving around, and then maybe able to talk it up to new play. Again, getting more players into your game should always be the way to go. And if I've been a constructed player since Hearthstone started, that is always, other than the launch of Demon Hunter, my mode of choice. Which in the grand history of Hearthstone is a very narrow window.
And I knew exactly what truck had pulled out in front of you.
Yeah. But like in general, my mode of choice has always been standard constructed Hearthstone. That is where I find my fun, but that doesn't appeal to people. And I've already talked up standard constructed ranked Hearthstone to all of my friends, but I have friends that like auto battlers. I have friends that like things like Slay the Spire and that like dungeon run and everything else. And if I was introduced to a reason to play duels and battlegrounds through the questing system, then I could be like, hey, friend that I know that love dungeon runs, duels is actually really fun. And I had to play it this week to get 5 wins for my quest. And you should come and check out Hearthstone again. Like those are conversations I'm not having because I'm in ranked mode all the time. Like, I don't know. To me, it just seems like diversity of play is something they should be aiming for, because word of mouth advertising is always better than anything that you put on TV or Twitter or pay for wherever else. So yeah. I don't know.
My focus too is on the rank thing specifically because of the barrier entry. And there's people who bought in have a leg up in battlegrounds, but the spread in your chance to win as someone who hasn't paid a cent in the battlegrounds versus someone who has is nothing compared to
constructed.
Yeah, to constructed. And that's kind of why I feel that way. I don't know. I'm just, again, I want the narrative to just be, hey, just play our game however you want to play it and you'll make progress. Have fun, everybody. And this is it's still weird to me. So that's kind of my
very
thought
much
there.
so.
I'm not going to complain that I have to get even fewer wins, but
but
wins anyway.
In terms of other quest progress, though, and encouraging diversity of play, they have updated quests to include completion in Tavern Brawls and Battlegrounds as well. So things like playing Battle Cry minions or playing as a certain class or whatever, you can now complete those things in Tavern Brawls and Battlegrounds. Obviously, you can't complete the class quests in Battlegrounds because none of those heroes have actual classes, but you can complete class quests over in Tavern Brawls, and you can complete like number of minions or type of minions. All that kind of stuff can happen over in Battlegrounds now as well, which means that overall you're going to be rewarded for playing more outside of ranked constructed Hearthstone, which is good.
Well, that's just a shame. I think the only reason any chance, the only chance any Illidan had of being picked is if people could complete their Demon Hunter quest in Battlegrounds.
Yeah, some of them are really obvious, but some of them I don't really know.
There are a lot of them that are not.
Them, so,
like what the hell is Galakron? Galakron has been a card for X amount of classes.
Unless Galakron counted as like any of the evil classes. Just Galakron gives you progress to all. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
and then the next episode of The Angry Chicken, I'm going to get on here and be like, you know what I really think they should have spent time on is interface design to show us which classes the dudes in Battlegrounds stood for. No, it's I like the wording here. I like the ones that what was it? Reward progress for any daily or weekly quests that they should naturally apply to. And it makes sense to me.
We should have done this from the beginning. Yes, you should have.
Not where I was going. I was going to go with. Okay. And so based on that, it makes sense to me that class quests wouldn't complete in Battlegrounds. But you're also right, Joss.
Yeah, but I mean, well, it never really made sense to me. Obviously, I'm not a big tavern brawler, but I do play a lot of Battlegrounds, and you'd get a quest that was like play X number of Battlegrounds minions, or sorry, Battle Cry minions, and I'd go into Battlegrounds and I'd play like a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'd come out and I'd be like, oh, I didn't get any progress toward my quest. That's weird. I played from my hand minions that have battle cries. Like it was odd to me that wasn't the way that they just automatically worked. So
yeah, mine was
I'm
Murlocs.
glad that they've seen this.
Like a
well, that's
Murloc
the other
quest.
thing. Yeah, the tribal quests. Yeah, those are also completable in Battlegrounds now. So they are going to basically allow you to progress through the reward track quicker, again, if you are a Battlegrounds or Tavern Brawl player, as opposed to someone who's playing ranked constructed. So they also changed, they boosted the daily quest rewards a little bit. So anything that was 800 is now 900. Now, some quests were already 900. And from this wording, I think they stayed the same. It was just the lower XP quests got a boost.
Which is fine. 800 felt bad.
Yeah.
Did not feel good.
And they did kind of reiterate with that change that this is kind of a dynamic system that they're looking at changing whenever they need to, blah, 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 blah. So they also reduced the amount of XP that you need to get to reach certain levels. Now, this is the part that they detailed at the top of the post that was talking about how they were lowering the XP required by almost 20%. So a lot of these quests now, or a lot of these levels are going to be or you're going to notice this change later on in the reward track, which is at least it was one of my big concerns, is like, it's going to take me 2 weeks to get from level 47 to 48. Like, that feels terrible. So they're trying to get rid of a little bit of that. But as a consequence of this overall lowering of the XP required, events are now no longer going to reward XP. They wanted the reward track to be tied more just to the general expansion, and they said it should feel like expansion to expansion over time. They should be comparable regardless of if there are events happening during that expansion cycle. So they have now removed XP from events, and they will only be rewarding us with things that events typically would reward us in the past, which are sometimes packs, sometimes cosmetics, but it will no longer interact with the rewards track. So you also don't need to feel bad if for some reason you need to miss an event, though Hearthstone events tend to be weeks long at a time. So it's not like a day, but still they've taken events out of the reward track, but also lowered the general XP requirements. So again, we don't know what the original plan was, so I don't know how to evaluate this change.
Nor do I, other than I'm sure this will upset some people.
Yeah. So I think it's good they're still going to have events and that there's going to be some cool cosmetics to earn. But yeah, this XP change, I think, was the biggest change, but also the hardest to analyze. So in the end, I don't know if this is better or not, because we don't know how. I would guess that somewhere between 35 and 40K XP is what they had expected people to earn over the course of an event. So just based on some of the other changes, I would assume this is basically a wash.
I mean, it certainly sounds like a wash, the way it's been teed up here, which is strange. You need, like, again, I don't know. Thinking about this from like a public relations standpoint, back when the survey went around, I was on here going like, if this is not an absolute win, if there's any hair splitting, people are going to throw a fit. And there was hair splitting, and a fit much larger than I ever could have imagined was thrown. Mm-hmm. So I don't. This is just weird. It's like, what? Just like at this point, you should have just probably just given both. Because now I'm again talking in this way where I have to think about my next word because I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. I mean, again, like it being more I guess we haven't like blatantly said this, it being more kind of consistent and needing less XP across the board, I do like that better. But then they'll also be like, yeah, and then we're not going to do those bonuses we talked about in the events. It's just kind of like, well, why not? Just do it. Like, it'd be fun and it would feel good. And really, and then
if they're extra, if they're bonus on top, then it's the kind of thing that like, hey, maybe during a reward track when there's 2 or 3 events, maybe I end up getting up to like level 100, and that feels really good. It's like they're trying to make us feel the same instead of making us feel really good. So I don't know. Yeah. The one thing that's good about this change is that your existing earned XP amount does not change. So if I've earned, say, 1,000 XP, that amount is not going to change. They are going to adjust the levels underneath that. So if with my 1,000 XP, I've unlocked level 4. I don't know. Then when I log in the next time after this change has been made, my 1,000 XP may have actually gotten me up to level 6. So they're going to like basically put the new levels of the reward track with their XP requirements into the background and then apply the amount of XP that you've earned so far in the reward track and tell you what your new level is, which just will be higher than what your current level is. So
you'll be closer to the goalpost.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll be closer to level 50. So you will have to go in and check and see if you have additional rewards. But yeah, so there is no like loss of progress. It doesn't like look at you and go, hey, you're halfway through level 42. We're going to keep you at halfway through level 42 when we put this new system in. No, you have X number of experience and that will be applied to the new levels when the change comes in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I feel like I'm opening Pandora's box, and except this time it's like covered in glitter and unicorn stickers. But Jocelyn, I don't feel that any of these changes addresses the latter levels feeling extremely slow and actually earning the rewards slowing down to a crawl once you're at the higher levels than when you started, which has been your biggest concern since the survey. And that's still the case.
Yeah, no, this does not change at all. My problem with them saying, hey, level 1, basically front loading the rewards is the easiest way to say it. This does not address that at all. My feedback hasn't changed. It still sucks. It's still wrong. It doesn't feel great. I really wish that it was just like, hey, every 500 XP or every 1,000 XP or whatever, you hit a new level of the rewards track. It would just feel better for those of us that are very involved in the game and that are playing every week, because right now, if you're going to get to level 50 anyways, you're going to get all the rewards, but it's like week 1, you might get like 20 rewards. And then by week 18, or well, there's not that many weeks, but you know, by the last one, you might be getting 1 reward a week. And that to me feels bad for really super involved players.
Yeah. And to me, it ties into, this is a bit of a reframing, but like one of the main things I've seen talked about in the community is the loss of the 10 gold every 3 wins, which never particularly excited me. I was like, 10 gold for 3 wins. My God, could you like barely give us anything for those 3 wins?
Felt like the smallest of small rewards. Yeah.
But like the more I've seen people talk about it, now I've seen like about every anecdote on God's green earth that could be made about the 10 gold. Like I to me, it's been like something clicked in my brain where I'm like, people just want like a steady stream of something, of anything. And it goes away in this system. There is no steady stream. There is a windfall in like the first 10 levels, you know, getting 20, not so bad, 30, okay. And then it just kind of falls off a cliff and you're going days and then eventually possibly a week or more without unlocking rewards. And even if you're not waiting a week, like to take a day or 2 between levels and then get like 1 pack, it just doesn't feel that great.
Yes.
And certainly, you know, this may shift it to where now after 40, it's going to slow down, feel like it slows down instead of 30, but it's still slowing down. There's still not any sort of steady stream of income to, you know, go get that next arena run or go do that next duels session. Or
no matter how small the reward is, the fact that people were being consistently rewarded for playing Hearthstone every single day, the same every single day, really, I think, plays a lot into how people are feeling about this rewards track. And I think overall, this doesn't feel as good because we're going to blow through the first week. We're super excited about a new expansion anyways, to the point that I know for me, I was almost overwhelmed with all the things I was unlocking with all the achievements and the rewards track and everything else and packs, to the point that I was just like, well, the good, fun, rewarding part of the rewards track almost gets lost in all the other expansion excitement, to the point that I don't notice those front loaded rewards. And then by the time that I'm starting to not get as many ding, you got an achievements and like, hey, shots of not adrenaline. What's that one that makes you feel good?
Oh, shoot.
Right?
Dopamine?
Yeah,
is it dopamine?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, no, that's one of my favorite bands. But yeah,
it's like you're not getting those dopamine hits anymore, and you're only getting them when you're playing Hearthstone, maybe once a day and then once a week. It's like if I just had consistent rewards through, so it felt like when I logged into Hearthstone and played every day, I was getting something, then that would just keep me feeling good further and further along through the track. And right now, with the increasing XP bonus in the paid the paid tavern pass, you kind of get a little bit of, I think, what I was talking about originally when I was talking about things like our World of Warcraft questing, is that the amount of XP that you get for completing a quest in World of Warcraft increases as your level increases, so that you're still kind of getting the same sort of progression through a level when you complete a quest. But if you're not paying for the tavern pass, you're not getting that XP bonus, which means if you're a totally free to play player, then you're even further behind because your little chunks of things don't have any bonuses tied to them. So you're getting the exact same XP from day one as you are from day 50. And it feels really, really, really bad because your progress is just so much slower as you get to those higher levels.
Yeah, to me, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but like maybe there's some other steady reward they could come up with or devise that somehow fits or works or makes sense within the system. For like, to me,
I don't think we're going to see any rewards outside of the reward track. Like they really seem to want to bring everything together. So I don't know.
Here, Joss. I'm just spitballing.
Unless you get a login, like they could fix it with like a login bonus. If every day you logged in, you just got 500 XP, like, okay.
That would
maybe that would fix it.
That would certainly help. But like, to me, like I'm more interested in like the psychology of the gaming or like the psychology of fun that's at play here. Cause like you got into some technical aspects that I don't think are wrong or anything, but like I lit up when you said I was overwhelmed. We're already enjoying the game when a new expansion comes out.
Yeah.
It's already playing the game itself, seeing new things, trying new decks, yada, yada, yada is enough to want to interface with Hearthstone. I'm already having a blast. Having a good time. If I'm in this, why am I playing this game if I don't like playing Hearthstone, right? I'm already at maximum peak. This is awesome. This like honeymoon phase. I can be.
Peak Hearthstone, yeah.
That is not when I need a giant windfall of prizes and quests to chase and so on and so forth. I get quests aren't part of that. You get the same amount of quests. Anyway, I need it at the tail end when I'm bored as hell of this meta. And I've tried everything there is to try, and I'm just done. I'm out. Like I've seen the same matchups a million times, and I'm good. And so when your days or weeks between getting the rewards, and also it's the ass end of an expansion, it's just not going to be all that thrilling. So anyway, I don't know. Those are all really good points. But like to me, like, I don't know, like all of this kind of like got thrown in a bucket that's just called incremental rewards, or steady stream is kind of what I keep coming back to.
And there is one change that they made to kind of sort of maybe address this for players who are actually going to get past level 50, but this is 100% a surface cosmetic change. So they basically said that your bonus levels were taking too much time to earn, which they were. So now they've, instead of their maximum bonus level is now 350, up from 150. So they added 200 more levels, but they're splitting the XP across those levels. So it's still the same amount of XP. So you should be hitting those levels faster, but those levels are then less rewarding. So they're basically taking all of the gold and all of the XP that you would have normally earned from level 50 to 150, but instead of capping it at 150, it's now split across an additional 200 levels. So yeah, each level is now 50 gold instead of, I think it was 100 gold, I want to say. So yeah, it's meant to rapidly progress you through the levels and have you ding and get that reward more often. But yeah.
And, maybe something like that would also work for 1 through 50, like a more incremental doling out of what's already there to get. One of the posts that really stuck with me was someone was like, I'm 10 gold away from arena run and I'm not going to be able to get any more gold until like next week. And I'm like, that does stink. Like, that is dumb. Like, it just doesn't feel good.
Doesn't fix this doesn't fix that problem, right?
No, because but like I'm saying, if you've
exhausted your quest,
if you applied this to, well, yeah, that's also fair.
Yeah, but like, you won't be able to get that last gold or that last quest.
But if it's more likely you would have had a chance to like tick over, get one more little piece of something, because instead of having so much of it locked behind a single level. An interesting thought there.
Chat room is saying it was 150 gold over level 50. So now it's going down to 50 gold. So yeah, you'll have to earn 3 levels now to get the same as you used to get in 1 level, but those levels will come a lot more quickly.
Which is good.
So you might end up with 50 or 100 more gold over the course of an expansion, because you might be able to get to level like 257, whereas before you would have not been able to complete that extra step to get your 150 gold. So you might get a little bit more. But overall, it's quite a surface level change. It doesn't actually change how much you're rewarded.
Yeah, but the speed at which you, like, how often you're accruing it is worth something. To me, this seems like a much better gamified system with regular rewards, which is part of the feel bad.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a pretty smart change. I mean, again, it's after 50.
Yes, it's after 50.
To see a bit of that applied to the 1 through 50. So,
well, yeah, because basically all levels over 50 work the way I want the whole entire thing to work, which is you have a set amount of XP that you earn, and every time you hit that XP, then you get a reward. Like, that's just how I want it applied to the whole entire thing. But, I'm not the boss, so.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like these changes. I never felt I had a ton of skin in the game in the first place, but this is still strange and still weird, and it still feels like we're splitting hairs.
Yes, it's a very hair splitty announcement. I think overall it is a little bit better, but I still think they missed the mark on a few things. But they also did commit multiple times in this post to saying it is a live living system that is going to be tweaked and changed going forward. They said it's going to be some time before their next update, but that this is not set in stone. This is not the way it always works. If we don't like it by the end of the expansion, keep giving them constructive criticism and expect more changes in the future if they are required, basically. So, the fact that they actually came out and said, Ridiculous Hat in the chat room is saying admitting they made mistakes was nice. True. I think really pointing out a couple of things that they did wrong with this reward system was very smart. But I think overall, it's still, Garrett, you're right, feels like splitting hairs. And I wish that they just specifically around the event XP, I think, if they just said, in addition to whatever events happen to fall within a tavern pass, we're also just making it 20% easier to complete. Everyone would be like, psst, amazing. And they had a chance for a psst, amazing, and they didn't take it.
Yeah, I wanted, sorry we messed up, enjoy these fireworks. And instead I'm sorry we messed up, here's a PowerPoint presentation. That's how this feels. At the end of the day,
with a footnote of a spreadsheet. Okay.
Yeah, it is a net positive, but it also is it's on brand with how strange I think this entire thing has been from the survey till now. This entire thing has felt very corporate, which is not what I'm used to from Team 5.
Yeah.
I'm used to there being a warmth that I have not felt in this entire rewards fiasco.
That's very, very true. And I think I'm really wondering if it's just like I know we've talked about in the past again, and definitely stop me if I'm rehashing things, but I kind of wish that we had gotten one of the things that we got duels or achievements or rewards track or whatever, instead of trying to launch all of that next to an expansion. Like, it just feels like there's so many balls up in the air right now, and nothing feels like it's being communicated with the level of warmth that you're talking about, Garrett. Like, there doesn't seem to be that same level of care and attention being paid to a lot of this stuff. So I would like to see that changed. Like, I'm down for waiting a little bit longer between stuff if the stuff that we get feels good.
You know where I'm going to, how I'm going to reply, right?
Is it because I said something about balls? Are you going to giggle?
What? No, I wasn't going to giggle. Although, I missed you talking about balls. That's hysterical. Balls. I will always be a 5-year-old. No, I'm going to reply with, I literally asked them to try anything. I don't care. I don't even care if it's done right. Just surprise me. They did. So I would rather see them try.
They didn't have to try 18,000 things. They could have tried one thing.
This would have been BlizzCon. It makes all the sense in the world. It seems strange because we're sitting at home in our pajamas. We feel like we were overloaded. If we were at BlizzCon, half drunk from $10 beers at the Hilton, it would make all the sense in the world.
I don't know. I still think it was,
last year we got an expansion. We got Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds was huge. And I would say Duels is still like to me, like half the hype of Battlegrounds. I'm like, Duels is cool. It's not as cool as Battlegrounds. Duels is cool. It's not as groundbreaking as Battlegrounds. So I think Duels plus weird Frankenstein rewards track kind of equals the Battlegrounds from last year. So as far as I'm concerned, this all checks out. This is all the amount of stuff I kind of expected around when we would have had BlizzCon.
Fair enough. I think you're wrong.
We can still be friends.
We don't have to agree on everything.
We can still be friends. Why can't we be friends? But yeah, anyways, we're going to take a break now and thank our sponsors. Everyone, just taking a quick minute to thank this week's sponsor, Quip electric toothbrushes. They are back, and you should check them out over at getquip.com/TAC right now. Joss, do you floss? I typically am not the best about flossing.
I am the worst at flossing, and mostly it's because I don't want to get my fingers all gooky.
Well, like, what if it was a little more convenient? Maybe if like you had a device that strung the floss for you, so that you had like a little handle that helped you control it and also not get your fingers gross.
That sounds wonderful, Garrett, and it sounds really easy.
Yes, and that's exactly what Quip's doing for you. You know them for their electric toothbrushes. You hear us talk about them all the time. We're talking about their sleek, reusable floss pick today. It's a durable handle. It's easy to guide. It restrings with a click, really satisfying click, must say. It kind of feels like pushing a Hearthstone button. And it comes with a compact mirror dispensing case, so you can floss on the go in the car, wherever it is, and you just boop, pop it open, this little mirror right there. I almost know what it feels like to have a makeup mirror up with me at all times. Something I haven't experienced before.
It's so convenient, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of my guyliner emo days. It's great. It's great. It's a good time. So check it out. Also, if you're not a pick person, Quip also has the refillable floss string that expands to clean. On top of all this, you can pair it with their electric toothbrush. They have the simple guiding features you need, like timed sonic vibrations with guiding pulses. And they also now have the Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush that connects to the free Quip app, which helps you get amazing rewards for just brushing every day. So go check them out. And if you go to getquip.com/TAC right now, you'll get your first refill for free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/TAC. It's spelled GETQUIP.com/TAC. Quip, better oral health made simple. Joss, are there any like guys in your life you're shopping for this holiday season?
Well, I do have one pretty special guy in my life. I guess he deserves a present or two.
Let me give you a tip. Wallets, ties, we don't need them. We've got enough. We don't need more than one wallet. I am a firm believer like 3 ties are enough. By the way, that's a magical number. If anyone's wondering, 3 ties are enough. Luckily, We're also sponsored today by Harry's Razors. They're back sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken. Check them out over at harrys.com/TAC, and we'll tell you why in just a second. But they make great gifts for the holidays, especially if you go and check out their Harry's Holiday shave sets. I just got one myself, Joss, and the box, as usual, is gorgeous. It opens, you get a nice unboxing experience. I think we mentioned this last time, but you like for folks in your life that like they're not like gamers, and they're not nerds, they may not be hip to the unboxing experience. You get to give them that experience with one of these shave sets. They're just really well put together, on top of the fact that it's a legitimately good shave that you're going to get with these razors. I declared war on my beard this year, Joss. I've been abusing my Harry's razors to a new degree.
Well, they're doing a great job. I haven't seen you scruffy in forever.
I know that's a lie. You see me on off days. But nonetheless, on days, I'm looking nice and smooth in my facial region. So go check them out. You get to use the exact same blades that I use. And, it's a practical gift that folks will actually use. Harry's makes their sharp blades to last. They are German engineered. I usually only hear that attached to cars I can't afford.
Luckily, you can have German engineering with Harry's.
Yes. And it's a gift that keeps on giving because Harry's blade refills are as low as $2 each. So whoever you're buying this for, they're going to save money over time. So go check out these shave sets and take advantage of our Angry Chicken offer. This holiday season, new customers can get $5 off plus free shipping on any Harry's limited edition holiday shave sets when you go to harrys.com/TAC. The set comes with a weighted handle, 3 razor cartridges, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover, all packaged in a handsome holiday gift box. Don't give socks this year. Delight the guys in your life with Harry's. To claim your $5 off plus free shipping, go to harrys.com/TAC. All right, Joss, let's talk about anything else, literally, please, for the love of God. I do not want to talk about the rewards track anymore. I'm sure it will come up. I'm sure we're going to talk about the rewards track.
No, I am never talking about it again. I'm done. It's over. I'm done. My thoughts are out there. That's it.
Are you willing to place any sort of wager to ensure that actually happens?
Sure. I will put $20 on it.
Okay.
Canadian, not American.
I get 1 beer at the Hilton for that.
Yeah, exactly. But, aside from all of the other news this week, what I am really excited about is the World Championship this weekend. I can't wait to watch the 8 best players in the world duke it out over this championship. I think there's a lot of potential fun to be had this weekend. These are all really great players. One thing that comes out of the new World Championship / Grandmaster format is I really feel like consistency is rewarded to the point that choose your champion is really difficult. It's super, super hard. There are obviously, like I said, 8 players. There's 2 from each region. If you guys haven't already done this, do go to Blizzard's website and choose your champion because you get 1 pack just for participating. So then you get 1 pack for every round that your champion moves on. So I don't know who you went with, but I personally went with Bloodyface because honestly, she's coming back for the 3rd World Championship in a row. You don't get any more consistent, and it's just time, Garrett. Bloodyface, it's time.
Yeah, I also went with Bloodyface.
Yay! I mean, like I said, there are so many good champions to choose from. And I think that there is a whole lot to be said for everyone. And we're going to go through all of them. But 3 World Championships, most experienced player at this level of competition. Bloodyface is just, I don't know. I think the hands down favorite. But I mean,
well, you're talking about the consistency. Bloodyface was on stage last year in the freaking finals.
In the finals, yeah, exactly. It's time, right?
It's her time, yeah.
And the other thing that I noticed, because I did basically on the Play Hearthstone website in the esports section, they did a interview with all of the players that are going to be in the World Championship this year. And more than any other player, because every single player was asked, who would you choose if you can't win the world championship, who would you choose as the most likely to actually take home the championship? And more than any other player, Bloodyface was chosen. So if even your your peers are choosing you as the winner, like obviously if they can't win, then come on. Like even the top level players are choosing Bloodyface as their champion. You really can't go wrong.
Yeah. Other champions are choosing Bloodyface as their champion. Like, I was watching Firebat. Firebat called it for Bloodyface. It's just like, I didn't see any, like, no offense to anyone else. I'm also like, I'm a big Silvername fan. So like, if I got to watch someone else win, I hope it's Silvername. But Bloodyface, it was just no question. Just been following her since 3 years now. Like it's just ridiculous. The consistency that Bloodyface has had. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I think this is the first time you and I have chosen the same champion, by the way.
Yeah, normally we don't agree. And so I don't know if that bodes well or not.
Yeah.
Bloodyface is our champion, but
probably
normally we don't.
Just jinxed her.
Yeah.
Probably.
But we should talk about the other ones that are participating, because obviously there are 7 other participants in the World Championship, including one that it broke my heart not to choose Monsanto. It really did. I mean, if there's anything that this Grandmasters system has shown us, is that we do start to really get attached to the personalities behind the streamers. I think a lot of times when we were just watching Swiss tournaments and stuff in the previous iterations of HCT, I think we very much didn't get like the personal interactions and the personality. And as much as like those little interview things can get kind of cringy and stuff, I think Monsanto is actually hilarious. In that like quiet, you're not even sure he's making a joke kind of way. And also he's Canadian. And I think if Bloodyface was not in the World Championships this year, then I would have gone with Monsanto. He doesn't have a like big win under his belt, but he has really consistent like top 4 and top 8 finishes in things like dream hacks and stuff from in the old system and everything else. So even though it's his first World Championships, I really think Monsanto is a great player, and I would have gone with him if I didn't have Bloodyface to choose.
I like Monsanto for probably the most superficial reason possible, Monsanto just looks like every dude I went to art school with. Like he looks like he would lend me his linseed oil to help me with my oil paints. Like
I don't know. Like I really think that they've done a good job through the Grandmaster system of making us really care and be able to follow a story and know the personality of a lot of our Grandmasters. And I think Monsanto has probably benefited the most from that. And Canadian.
Also, could someone cut Jocelyn's last like 5 minutes down to just Monsanto because he's Canadian? Because that's the only real reason. We know the truth, Jocelyn. You could have saved everyone 5 minutes.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, I choose the Canadian for my champion, and I didn't this year, and I'm really, really sorry. But I mean, I'm also a Leafs fan, and they haven't won.
USA.
They haven't won the cup in forever, and that's probably because I cheer for them. So if anything,
I'm sorry,
you
Josh.
Don't want me cheering.
Could you remind me who won the cup this year?
Get out, Garrett.
Could you remind me? Because
no, we're not talking about it. We're not.
You don't want to talk about the state that doesn't know what snow even looks like winning the Stanley Cup? No, nothing.
No, I don't.
Nothing.
So, T is the next contestant.
Go Lightning.
Champion. We're going to talk about. And I think basically, really and truly, what you guys are going to gather from all of this is that any choice that you make in Choose Your Champion is a valid choice, with maybe the exception of maybe one. I haven't really decided yet.
Are you going to talk smack? I feel like you're about to, like, with the exception of, sorry, Xiao T. Like,
no, I think Xiao T is a really, really good choice because, first of all, qualified out of China China is definitely like there was a lot of worry for a lot of years in Hearthstone because China never seemed to get the kind of consistent world championship results. But obviously, our current reigning world champion is out of China, and the region itself has become more and more competitive in recent years. And Zhao Qi qualified in the tournament that was just a couple weeks ago. So I think he actually has the best handle on the current tournament meta. So I think he's a great choice for Choose Your Champion this year.
I chose Zhao Qi because I thought it was obvious that it'd be ridiculous to think that Zhao Qi didn't have a chance. But yeah, fair. I was basically throwing a dart. But
we don't say that people don't have a chance, Garrett. We call them a dark horse.
Right. That's Raven's job.
And so
actually, I guess more of Sal's job, really, if I'm being honest with myself.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think Raven ever says things like that. That's definitely a subtle thing.
That's kind of Sottle's territory.
But yeah, so Yarla is the other EU, or sorry, not other EU. We haven't covered anybody from EU yet. My bad. So Yarla is our first EU representative that we're talking about today, and he's another super consistent player. And I think he's probably, if I had to choose one out of the whole entire list, he's probably my most improved player. And he's a teammate of Hunter Race, which gives him a former world champ as a practice partner. So I really think Yarla he's another one that I just feel like it's maybe time. I feel like Yarla has been one of those names that's kind of just been around posting pretty consistent results that have just been getting better and better in the lead up to this world championships. But he's been around for such a long time, and that I think he's a really good pick. Like he just has this like
but that's
slow, methodical. Like I think he's actually the slowest player in Hearthstone. But he has this real slow, methodical, like life coach way of.
I was going to say, can we finally move past life coach as our poster child for glacial play?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I still think life coach somehow hacked the game to have longer rope times, but that like what's like. And I don't want to like skip ahead or run over everything, but like everyone has a story like I love this type of storyline, and any type of competition that I enjoy is the one I like, by the way. I love like the idea of like dynasties or teams or personal relationships and connections to other people who are just god tier competitors, because it always seems to have a through line and pay off. It's almost like if you can tap it in the brain of someone who has already made the climb and secured the win, that it might actually help you get into a mental space where you can excel. But Sif has a similar story. Freaking Bank Yugi took out Tom 60229. Like it's almost like this is the world championship, Jocelyn, and we're staring down the barrel of 8 of the best Hearthstone players in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, you mentioned that Sif has a similar story. Sif is currently dating its claim to fame, our current world champion. And so therefore, I mean, talk about practice partners. It doesn't get any better than that. But again, Sif obviously had proved his mettle over in China and was the champion and MVP of the Gold Series over there. So again, huge pool of competitors to make it this far. So no one to shake a stick at. Again, like you kind of can't go wrong with a lot of choices here. My personal dark horse, and guys, don't get mad at me, including Garrett, is actually Silvername, only because he qualified. Like he did beat Bunny Hopper, which is a huge thing. He obviously won season 1 over on the EU side, but he was relegated in season 2, which I think could be part of the conversation. The season 2 meta was not kind to him. So that's the only reason why I say of everybody, I think he is my dark horse. That being said, he is a super intense competitor. Like he does his work. So, I mean, maybe being relegated in season 2 was the kick in the butt that he needs to come back and win the world championship. I think
Silvername's hungry. I think Silvername wants to prove himself. And I don't think he won.
His interview definitely reflected that, because he literally said, like, this has been the goal of the last 5 years of my life. Like he is definitely a competitor. And again, like, I don't think that there's a bad choice. I think out of everybody, he is the one that I think is least likely. But again, that's least likely in a field of incredible players. Like, doesn't mean it can't happen or I think he's terrible. It's just, I think he is my like based on paper, like records and stats, he's my dark horse.
He's had the most
I don't
obvious.
think that means he's bad. Yeah,
He's had the most obvious
decline
challenges in the
play.
past.
Yeah.
But has done quite well this year, obviously, because I'm late. But yeah, the really taken a liking to Silver Name in the last year, because he comes off as intense, and at the same time, like, not many people just sitting in front of their webcam sticks with me. Silver Name, you can just see him looking at the Matrix as he puts together his plays.
Yeah, like the gears turning. Yeah, you can totally see it. I agree with you completely. And then finally, I think the only one we haven't mentioned is Glory, who is our season 1 winner out of APAC. And the reason I think Glory is a good choice is that Demon Hunter is actually his favorite class. It's the one that he is most comfortable with. It is the strongest class in the game right now. And so I think that depending on the strategy, we're going to talk about decks in a minute, which I kind of wish that Ridiculous Hat was in the call with us to have the deck conversation, but I will do the best that I can. But I do think that if people end up going down a line of targeting Demon Hunter instead of banning it, I think he, out of all 8 competitors, probably has the best chance to win with it, even when it's being very specifically targeted by other lineups. So I think Glory has maybe the best chance based on the meta specifically. But again, all competitors are going to obviously do their homework and play the crap out of all these decks. So I don't think that there's a bad pick. I think that there are some people on paper that maybe look more favored than others, but I think it's Hearthstone and it's anybody's game. So make sure you go and choose your champion. It's going to be an intense weekend, and I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Any misplays will be horribly punished.
Yes, absolutely.
Horribly punished.
So now we're going to talk about decks. And so obviously we don't actually know what anybody is playing yet, unless all of the decks have been posted in the last couple of hours as we've been recording. So I just took a stab at what I think is going to happen. It might be totally wrong. I am not a deck builder. I am not a lineup builder. I am not a tournament player, but guys, I tried. I tried. So basically the ones that I expect to see this weekend are Pure Paladin, Evolved Shaman, Highlander Hunter, possibly a Miracle Rogue, Demon Hunter, and Control Warrior. So I think Demon Hunter is probably the easiest give me. It has pretty good matchups across the board. It has 2 archetypes that are almost equally viable in the aggro version and the soul version. And I think that because of that reason, I think you're going to see everybody bring a Demon Hunter, because you can basically choose if you would prefer to play an aggro style or if you'd prefer to play the soul style. And so it just is going to be a comfort pick for everyone, because they're not going to have to play aggro if they don't want to. So I think everyone's going to bring Demon Hunter. That's easy. That's an easy pick, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. And then, so I think because I think everybody's going to have it, that means that your lineup building strategy is going to very much revolve around Demon Hunter. Now, I think some people are going to choose to either ban Demon Hunter or target Demon Hunter. And I think possibly the targeting Demon Hunter might actually be a better route, because Highlander Hunter has the highest win rate in standard right now. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but it really punishes both Control Warrior and Demon Hunter.
It's not sexy. We've been playing Highlander Hunter for so long. And we kind of got into this last week, but yeah, there's no reason not to be playing it. If your goal is to win, if your goal is to have a new experience in Hearthstone, this is not going to do it for you.
Right.
Even though it is running some new cards, but
yeah. But from a tournament standpoint, this, I think, is going to be another one that everyone is just going to bring. And it has an amazing win rate. It punishes some of the more the Control Warrior and the Demon Hunter that are kind of duking it out. And so I think people are going to bring Highlander Hunter. So I think banning Hunter might actually be a better choice, to ban Hunter, bring Control Warrior, and then punish the Demon Hunter, because Control Warrior has a good matchup against either aggro or soul.
It's gonna with the Hunter though. It's gonna really depend on which Demon Hunter they go with, because you're absolutely right. I think there's a really strong argument to go with either aggro or lifesteal, and Highlander Hunter does really well against lifesteal, but not so hot against aggro Demon Hunter.
Right. Yeah. So I think that you you bring Highlander Hunter, and then if you're bringing the Highlander Hunter, I actually think you ban Demon Hunter. So I think I guess you could go either way, really. Like, basically, if you're not banning Demon Hunter, you're bringing your Control Warrior because you want your Control Warrior to punish the Demon Hunter, right? You want to get that win, get their Demon Hunter out of there. Then you can also bring, I guess, like I mentioned, Pure Paladin. Pure Paladin, I think, goes if you're banning Demon Hunter. You want to bring your Pure Paladin alongside your Highlander Hunter, your Miracle Rogue, and your Demon Hunter because you don't need Control Warrior if you're banning Demon Hunter. Control Warrior is basically there just to target the Demon Hunter decks. It's not that great if you're looking at Control Warrior matchups. Like, it's not really that great against the Paladin or the Hunter. Obviously, like I said, Hunter's really good against Control Warrior. If you can't tell, it is a very rock, paper, scissors kind of tournament meta that I'm expecting.
Well,
so
yeah.
It's very much like a this beats this, this beats this, this beats this, and which of those strategies is going to be the best. I think banning Hunter is probably going to be the winning strategy. And I think Miracle Rogue is probably going to be in, I think, both lineups, whether you're banning Hunter or banning Demon Hunter. I think Miracle Rogue has a lot of potential wins. I think you target Paladin without necessarily sacrificing your other matchups. It has a half decent, it's almost the best against Demon Hunter. If you, like, after you take away Control Warrior, like, if that gets banned or something, you still have a Miracle Rogue backup. And like, that kind of, I mean, I'm glad that there's something else that can stand up against Demon Hunter. What I'm not really glad about is the fact that it's, trying to play a whole bunch of cheap stuff. It's doing backstabby things. It's doing shadow steppy things because it wants to get an early Edwin down. And can we please have a world championship without a gigantic Edwin? Just one time, please.
But like, Jocelyn, think about what you're saying.
Why am I talking about it again? It's 2020.
Because it sounds like he's your savior against Demon Hunter being the story of the year.
I don't even know at this point, Garrett. I'm like, do I want the same story year over year, or do I want to admit that maybe talking about Illidan is a good thing? I mean, I feel like I can't win this year. It's the 2020th thing.
Listen, yes, Edwin was there last year, but it was freaking Evolved Shaman, okay? Like, that was the story, and it felt like it took the whole year that we had and kind of chucked it for what I thought was a cool event, but still just like a special event. I felt like that had too much of a overbearing impact on our finals. Yeah. So this one is shaping up like or hate Demon Hunter. It has been the major story of Standard Hearthstone this year, and it's going to bring us home in the World Championship. It makes sense. I've got a storyline that I can follow, and I actually kind of dig. Like,
I'm glad that you dig it. I'm glad you're excited about it. Like I said, I'm excited, but I do think that Demon Hunter is absolutely shaping this current meta and what people are going to bring to tournaments to either target or counter. I think it'll still be fun to watch. I think there's going to be some really high level play. It's going to be a great weekend. And I think the only reason that I'm a little bit like, because there's always at least one, if not two, if not sometimes even three decks that feel like they just are set in the lineup, and you have maybe one or two deck slots that are kind of more wiggle room. But there's always going to be one deck that absolutely everybody brings. Right now, that just happens to be Demon Hunter, and I think it's going to be Highlander Hunter as well. Like, I think those are the two staples of these 8 lineups. That's what I expect to see. And I think it's just because of my own personal feelings about Demon Hunter, which is why I'm kind of like about this. But realistically, there's always going to be somebody that's the best. This time it just happens to be the class that I don't personally like. I think that if everyone was going to bring Priest, then Garrett would cry. There's always going to be something, and it just depends on what you like seeing in Hearthstone. I don't like Demon Hunter.
Christmas comes early for Garrett this year.
Yeah, no, Priest is nowhere on my list. There are some like Priest, Warlock, like there are some classes, Druid even, that I'm just like, there's no way. And even Mage, which is kind of weird because I feel like Mage has been a staple for a really long time as well. But Mage just doesn't really do all that great against anything else that I'm expecting to see. Like half decent against Control Warrior, but are you like, I mean, maybe we'll see people playing Mage against like expecting to see a whole bunch of warriors, but I don't like, I think Highlander Hunter is just the better anti-warrior choice. So why would you ever take up a slot with Mage? Like, yeah, I don't know.
The last two expansions, I think, have kind of relegated Mage and Priest to be the new Shaman Warlock, except Warlock is still not great.
Except Warlock is still down there, yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. I can deal with a year ending without Mage being represented. It's had a lot of representation in competitive Hearthstone. That doesn't get into the fact that I wish they were a little more consistent just on ladder. Because they have some really cool decks right now. I was a little, concerned for even more Yogg things with another Yogg coming in, but it turned out to be not a concern at all.
No, like we talked about last week, I think everything is just too fast. Now that being said, everything on ladder is too fast. Though I really don't think that any of these decks are going to change enough to be like super heavy on the old god side or play super greedy. Like, I don't think that's the way things are going to move. I think they're going to stay pretty like early to mid focused. But yeah, it does kind of make me a little bit sad that like our old gods aren't more viable or like that things are so fast. I hope that we get, a little bit of a mix up when we start getting into the conversation about the mini set. So, which is actually we have both of our questions actually revolve around the mini set this year. So, I think that it's going to be a fun tournament. It's going to be great to watch. I hope you guys choose the right champion and get all of the packs.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We've gotten long enough, I think, without Grandmasters. We have the new expansion here. Like, even if the meta's settled, like, I'm ready to watch.
It feels like forever. Like, it feels like forever since I've sat down for a weekend and watched competitive Hearthstone.
Well, Jocelyn, we've actually, we have ended up in a temporal time pocket where we've actually, unfortunately, been reading about the rewards track for a combined 17,000 years. So that can make things seem like it's been a little longer, but it's only been like a month or so.
Feels like it's been way longer than that.
It's also happening in the year 2020. So there's also that to contend with. But yeah, I think because I got pretty damn burnout on Grandmasters. So I've really enjoyed the break, and now that we're coming back in a new expansion, like, to me, this is kind of perfect timing. I'm really looking forward to this. So bring it on. Also, don't forget it's on YouTube, y'all. Still not on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's over on YouTube. So, which is okay for me. I use Roku and they don't have a Twitch app for some freaking reason. So just easier to watch on my television. So anyways, let's move right ahead and take those questions that we were just alluding to in this week's email segment.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails directly to tacpodcast@gmail.com, or if you're a patron, you can just message us right there in the patron Discord. Skip the inbox entirely. The only X1, I want to say the only Onyx, but no, it's only X1. 88 writes in and says, do you guys think we really need a mini set with how good the current meta is with so many viable decks? And this is an interesting thought, because my gut reaction says, yes, for the love of God. Yeah, the meta's a little quick.
Shake it up.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like a healthy meta, which I always think of as like there's a lot of different viable archetypes, a lot of, spread across a lot of viable classes, which I think we're in. I think there's a lot of good archetypes out there spread across a lot of different classes. There are certain classes. We just talked about Mage, we just talked about Priest, we just talked about Warlock, who we're kind of struggling right now. But I think all of the other classes have some really strong contenders that you can go hit Legend with. Now, that isn't to say that it's not kind of boring.
You can have a viable meta and a potentially diverse meta that also feels stale because you've been playing the same thing for a long time, right? And I would say that depending on your location on the ladder, that means your meta is going to be more or less diverse. If you are playing at the very high legend ladder right now, you're seeing Demon Hunters, Control Warriors, and Highlander Hunters, and that's it. The other classes do not exist. If you're playing a little bit lower down on the ladder, then you're going to start to see like some other classes sprinkled in. You might see a little bit of Druid here and there. You're going to see some of the other decks that we talked about in terms of Paladin. You might see some Dude Paladin if you're super lucky. You're going to see obviously the Evolved Shaman. You might see some Warlocks playing around with some Ticketus stuff, but like, in general, you're still going to be dominated by those three classes, the Demon Hunter, the Hunter, and the Control Warrior. So I think that even though there's a little bit more variety down low, you're still going to be seeing a dominance of some classes over others. So I think it's a good time to shake things up because we have gotten to a point where not only is it solved, but it very much seems like it's, if I queue into Control Warrior as Demon Hunter, I'm a lose. If I queue in as Warrior against Highlander Hunter, I'm going to lose. If I queue in as Demon Hunter versus Hunter, I might be able to smork them down and everything will be fine. And that sort of rock, paper, scissors thing gets pretty stale when you start to get into those matchups that are what we called, or what we like to call polarized, where it very much feels like when you log in, your game is predetermined based on the class that you happen to hit. So I think that that sort of a meta is going to, even if you are spread out over a bunch of different classes, I think it is going to get pretty stale pretty quickly. And I think a lot of people are starting to feel that. So I do think the mini set will, or I guess, I think the mini set is needed. I hope it brings a shakeup.
Yeah. I as someone who is more than happy to slam, Totem Shaman and aggro Demon Hunter games right now, I'd like a quick game. I would like things to slow down a little. They're a little quick right now. Because at the start, as I mentioned, when we got into like our post-launch episode, like it was so cool playing that Control Warlock deck back before everyone knew, just go face and win in 6 turns or less. Like that was neat, and I would just like a little bit more of that. But which also like going back to
what AJ's question is. Sorry, the next question is actually about that exactly. I feel like the old god cards haven't been viable owing to the prominence of aggro decks like Face Hunter and Demon Hunter in general. I can barely last until turn 10. Have you guys found this to be a problem? Do you hope the mini expansion has some cards to help slow things down, which really plays into what you were saying, Garrett? Yeah. Like at the beginning, before everyone decided to go like super aggro, then you could do some super cool stuff, whether it's old gods or whether it's Control Warlocks or whatever, like whatever kind of late game cool combo-y stuff. Like combo is always the thing that falls the hardest when aggro is good and viable and popular. So, you don't get to do some of the super cool stuff. And that is because the meta is so fast. Sorry, Garrett, you were going to say.
No, I was just going to kind of tie it into too, like as much as I agree we're in a rock, paper, scissors meta, I don't think all of the matchups are like the worst thing in the world. Like we were just talking about back when we were in the Great Masters discussion, the Highlander Hunter, aggro Demon Hunter matchup. And in the background, I pulled it back up because I was kind of curious. The last time I remembered looking at that win rate, like it was definitely favored to the Hunter, to the Demon Hunter.
Demon Hunter, but
they
it's
both
close.
have Hunter in their name.
Yeah.
But like I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world.
It's close,
it turns out it's not horrendous. Like definitely you would call this favored for the Demon Hunter, but it's 60-40 split. The Demon Hunter's got a 60% win rate over the Highlander Hunter, but that still means 40% of the time the Highlander Hunter has a chance. And I think that's really good. What's going to make the competition this weekend really interesting. Is those matchups that we'd look at and go, oh, rock, paper, scissors matchup. It's going to happen, but there's still those times where you're going to be able to eke out a win, especially with perfect play.
Honestly, like I'm most excited to watch some of those Highlander Hunter games where they are where the matchups are a lot closer, because with the Highlander specifically, you have one of each resource, right? So where they choose to use those resources, I think is going to be some of the most interesting Hearthstone we see, because the Highlander Hunter, though it does have the highest or does have a really high win rate, it is still like a lot of its matchups are a lot closer than some of the more polarized stuff that we see in like the Demon Hunter Warrior matchup, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, I don't know. Like there's obviously there's certain metas that I prefer over others, but like, I don't think there's one meta that's the best that we should also strive for. I like that we go in and out and we ebb and flow in between different types of metas because I've been playing this game since 2013. You know, I want things to shake up a little bit every now and then. Is that how long we've been playing it? Yeah, beta, late 2013, right?
Yeah. Summer, like August, I think, 2013.
Makes sense. But so yeah, it's like, and so both of these, they're, only X1 and AJ Guy, like they're kind of opposed here, but they're talking about the same thing. And so I find it fascinating because like my point to both of them is, I don't think we always need new cards or we don't always need balance changes just because something is inherently broken. Sometimes I think it's just interesting to shake the meta up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
so I think that like it's probably by the time we get the set, I would be interested to know what the only one thinks when we actually get the set, which I expect to be sometime in late January, possibly the 18th. We shall see. But remember, keep that January 18th in mind, guys. That's in the blog post for a reason, I swear. So I think that by that point in time, it'll be like, what is that, like 5-ish weeks from now or so? You might be ready for a shakeup from this meta by the time that gets either announced or launched in what I believe is probably going to be January. So I don't know. I think you'll probably be ready. And I hope AJ doesn't, get too frustrated with the fact that they haven't been able to play with super awesome old god cards yet because of the prominence of Face Hunter and Demon Hunter. Though Face Hunter, I have to say, not a lot of people are kind of going with. I think Demon Hunter is the more accepted way to play aggro at the moment. But
yeah, I think you see a lot of it on ladder because you can play it with cards you already had. If you didn't get the cards you were hoping for, or just didn't get any new cards at all because you're not buying it or whatever the case is. Like old school Face Hunter just works, and that's why we're seeing it on ladder.
Absolutely. And I think, obviously the conversation that we have around the World Championships is going to be slightly different than ladder because you have the ability to target and ban, which you can't really do on ladder, right? So unless you're a High Legend.
Yeah. I could win a local race.
There's so little variance up there.
Yeah, I could win a local race with a retired NASCAR from 5 years ago, but I'm probably not going to win the Daytona 500 with it.
Probably not.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I don't actually watch NASCAR. Given the horsepower
I think
figures.
The sentiment is there and probably correct.
Yes. It would do just fine for my games at home.
Yes.
But thank you for your emails, both of you. Bet you didn't know how well they were going to tie into one another. So
yeah,
keep them coming. tacpodcast@gmail.com. And Jocelyn, I think that's going to bring us to the end of this episode. So folks, if you enjoyed this, if you liked this, if you thought to yourself, I learned something today, and if you didn't learn anything, maybe you laughed. Maybe you laughed because I said something stupid, but still, you laughed. Consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/TAC. And a huge thanks to everyone supporting us over there. You'll get some perks. You'll get an ad-free version of this podcast delivered to you in your own personal, private, super special RSS feed link. Also, huge thanks to our Patreon producers. Thank you, Declan H. Thank you, Cheesy Bob. And thank you, Lord of the Cup. Again, go check it out. Patreon.com/TAC. If you want to catch the back catalog of episodes, you're catching up, go over to amove.tv or just go straight to theangrychicken.com. It'll take you straight to the Angry Chicken blog, which feeds the podcast. They're all on there. And you can catch us usually live on Wednesdays at 5:30 Eastern time over at twitch.tv/amovetv. We recorded a little early this week, originally just because I have a thing I have to do tomorrow. But then we got the rewards track news. So it was like, it just kind of worked out.
Good timing.
Perfect. Thank you for being flexible, Jocelyn.
No problem.
So where can folks find you outside of TAC?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I am at Joss Plays. I'm going to tell you guys you should go and watch me on Twitch tonight. I'm going to be streaming because it is the first night of a new raid. Yeah, Shadowlands. I'm so excited to get into Castle Nathria. I think it's going to be really fun. And I am shaman healing for the first time in my life. So you guys can all come and laugh at me.
What happened while I was away?
Yeah.
What world are you a shaman?
Yeah, I know.
What race are you even playing?
Valpyra.
Okay, that checks out. Yep, I forgot they could be shaman. Okay, I'm like,
Yep.
Joss is not, I know Joss ain't an orc. Like,
Yeah.
there ain't no orc Joss running around.
I'm a Valpyra. I'm adorable.
Fair.
I have little fairy wings because I'm in Ardenweald. And yeah, I get to sparkle often, Garrett, and it's glorious.
I'm an Ardenweald because I love their abilities, but I hate their cosmetics, so I ain't repping at all. The only time I rep is when I turn into a blue fox.
Oh man, you still have the fox. I'm about to soul shape shame you.
Go for it.
Oh man, that was one of the first things.
Hey, Joss, did you ever get your fox mount from Legion? I win. No. I win. Woo! Woo!
Ouch, my feels.
I don't even know what the mount is technically called, but I write it all the time.
Yeah, just to rub it in. Oh, I'm aware. But yeah, again, that is on Twitch at Joss Plays, JOC Plays. I'll see you guys there tonight. Gonna start streaming after dinner because I got some chores to do before raid time. So yeah, do come and check it out.
Well, you can find me talking smack about my awesome fox mount over on Twitter at GarrettArt, amove.tv for this and every other podcast that I make. Let's Talk About Star Wars is still going up until The Mandalorian comes to the end of season 2. This has been such a good season, I can't even stand it. So go find Let's Talk About Star Wars wherever podcasts can be found. Also Into the Nexus for Heroes of the Storm and WoW Killer for World of Warcraft. All of that over at amove.tv. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening, for watching, however you're getting this podcast. We appreciate that you are experiencing it. Because if there's one thing the Angry Chicken is, it's an experience. So until next time, until next week, job's done.
Job's done.